Now, sports with Chase Williams.
Well, last night, of course, was a loss of epic proportions for the Rangers, but don't count these guys out. Seeing the way they were acting inside the locker room after the game, obviously they were disappointed, but they're a very confident group. And again, they haven't lost back-to-back games since August 23rd. Something's got to give here tonight. Welcome here to Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, where it was a very special day for one Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. After 21 amazing seasons, he's calling it quits. One of the best players in Rangers franchise history, one of the best catchers the game has ever seen. However, today, it all had to come to an end. Yeah, Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo and the rest of the team have fielded questions all week long about the most popular set of ribs in the NFL. Tony Romo will start this evening, but the motto all season long was just get into the playoffs and see what happened. And yesterday, the Mavs played extremely well. I'd say they shocked a lot of people about how they hung in there and actually had a chance to win. But in the end, it just wasn't enough. Outside Cowboys Stadium, where this one against the Eagles could have been for the NFC East Championship, but it wasn't. The Giants beat the Jets earlier in the day, 29-14, meaning this one was all but a glorified preseason game, but the extra day off has added nothing but anticipation and excitement in what could be the biggest moment in franchise history. Cowboys defensive coordinator Rob Ryan, all the way back in training camp, called Philadelphia the all-hype team, and they remembered that heading into last night. Now, these are the two heavy favorites to represent the American League in this year's World Series. And then there's the pitching matchup tonight. Former Ranger C.J. Wilson against the Rangers' prize offseason pickup in Yu Darvish. The last couple weeks have come down to the final seconds. How has that been for you up there in your box watching these games? Is your heart okay?
Well, it shouldn't come down to the final seconds.
Now, as big as this win was for you guys, how much bigger is next week at home against Philly, who did a number on you guys the first time?
Oh, you know.
Do you measure your pythons on
No, I don't.
I'm sitting here. I'm sorry. I'm staring at them. They're huge.
No, I don't.
You guys are built as a team, and throughout the entire year, it's been all about team. How exciting was it for you that that's exactly how you clinched tonight? When you were holding the trophy, when Mark handed it to you, does that validate your career for you personally?
Yeah, I mean.
You're watching. What is the line? Inside. Donkey Sports. No, okay, we're gonna do it again. What are we?
Inside Sports.
Inside Sports, okay.
And welcome to Inside Sports. At Sports Donkey, that's the handle on Twitter. I need a couple more followers. Yes, we will get to Tim Tebow later in the Denver Broncos, but this is a Cowboys town. Now, despite that being the case, the team still stinks, and they're at home watching the playoffs. I call him so many times, he's on my speed dial. Donovan Lewis from Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket, joins us here in the studio. Thank you, as always, for coming out tonight.
Pleasure.
All right, the Cowboys, it's the same old story. Once again, they have a chance to get into the playoffs, and they don't get it done. What went wrong? All right, Tony Romo, you've dealt with your fair share of criticism. So has Tony Romo. How do you think he's handled it in his career here in Dallas? Well, Josh Hamilton is the hottest player on the planet. No, not because he's a good-looking guy, but he had about as close to a perfect week as anyone in the history of Major League Baseball. What he's done this week, especially Tuesday night in Baltimore, is jaw-dropping, to say the least.
Way out to center field, a two-run blast, number 10 for Josh Hamilton.
A ninth-inning two-run home run capped a 14-3 rout of the Orioles on Monday.
Yeah, Neffy's sitting on the bench going, hey, save some of these for tomorrow.
And that's exactly what Josh Hamilton did, giving just an appetizer for Tuesday's main course.
It was awesome. He was locked. The only word I've got for it is unbelievable.
How about another to center field? Number 4, Josh Hamilton on an unstoppable tear in Baltimore.
There's really no way to describe it. I've never seen something like that before. You know, I've never seen a guy hit 4 home runs in a game ever, I don't think, in my life.
I mean, it was just an incredible performance. Best individual performance I've ever seen on a baseball field. It was incredible.
You know, what he did was, you know, might not see it again, ever. I
mean, it was pretty unbelievable, and it was fun to be there.
The slugger hit 4 home runs, had 8 RBI, and 18 total bases, an American League record, clearly a game for the history books.
There's nights where things slow down and, you know, you see the ball well and you put good swings on them. And that was one of those nights. Wasn't expecting it to be that good, but it was, and very grateful for that and feel very blessed.
But the only way to cool off a hot Josh Hamilton was Mother Nature. Rain postponed Wednesday's game. However, Josh was right back at it on Thursday.
Goes after the first pitch.
I didn't even see where that ball went.
And just so the fans in Arlington wouldn't miss out, Hamilton launched 2 more long balls on Friday.
A deep drive again and another home run.
And another yesterday off former teammate C.J. Wilson.
Launched to right and gone.
You know, every time Josh Hamilton goes to the plate, you really expect something good to happen. Because when he swings the bat and he makes contact, the ball makes a loud sound.
Josh Hamilton's week is out of this world. A .464 batting average with 9 home runs, 16 RBI, and leads the majors in almost every major offensive category. And to top it off, he has more home runs than the entire San Diego Padres. An unbelievable week we may never see again.
If you have been watching Ranger baseball since day 1, 1972, we have never seen a performance like this.
Well, it was amazing to watch what Hamilton did that night. Coming up later on Inside Sports, I talked to someone who was there in Baltimore during the record-breaking performance.
Stars and Mavs both in action and both looking for wins and looking to build up a little momentum. First up were the Dallas Stars against the Edmonton Oilers, who have lost 9 of their last 10 road games here in Dallas, and that would bode well for Jamie Benn and the Stars, tied up at 1, and Benn hammers home the rebound for his second goal of the game. Dallas up 2-1. Now on to the third period. Mike Ribeiro getting a bit of luck as he will bank one off 2 players. It goes in. He has 2 goals as well. Stars win 4-1 today over the Oilers.
We need to keep pushing forward, you know, just stretch until the All-Star.
Then it was the Mavs' turn when the sun went down, and Dirk Nowitzki gaining a little inspiration for this one against the Hornets. I think Bob knows about that. Dallas without Jason Kidd for 3 games, and Dirk gets the jumper and the foul early on. He'd make the free throw, 8-7 Mavs. Then the bench would need to come up with a big night. Jason Terry finds Jan Mahimi for the alley-oop jam. Mavs up 22-16. Then it's defense turning into offense. Dirk feeds Rodrigue Beaubois, who's all alone for the 3. Right now the Mavs lead 68-56 in the third quarter. College hoops now. 5th-ranked Baylor in Lubbock taking on Billy Gillespie and Texas Tech. The Bears held a 1-point lead at halftime, but they would pull away. Mesquite Horn alum Quincy Acey throws down a man-sized dunk. Baylor wins 73-60. They improve to 15-0 on the year, 2-0 in the Big 12. Elsewhere, 15th-ranked Kansas in Norman taking on the Sooners. Thomas Robinson, the go-to guy for the Jayhawks this season, and they do just that. Robinson with a huge alley-oop dunk. Kansas goes on a 29-6 run to start the second half. They cruise to a 72-62 win. Well, less than a month ago, June Jones was set to leave SMU and head for the Pac-10 and Arizona State. Well, that didn't happen. Today, he was guiding the Ponies into their 3rd consecutive bowl game. That's the first time that's happened for SMU since the early 80s. Senior J.J. McDermott in SMU taking on Pitt in the Compass Bowl in Birmingham, Alabama. First quarter, McDermott airs it out 50 yards to Darius Johnson for the touchdown. Johnson would eventually be named the Compass Bowl MVP. Later in the first, McDermott with the quarterback keeper, he just gets in for the score. That puts SMU up 14, and they would not look back. Believe it or not, it wasn't the passing attack that would seal this win for the Mustangs. It was the 2 running touchdowns of Rashad Wembley and the defensive pressure of Marcus Hunt. He had 5 sacks on the day. SMU wins big. 28-6 is your final.
To be quite honest, it's been our defense all year.
72 players were cut today at the Byron Nelson. Among them, former major champions, no names, up-and-comers, and Todd Dempsey, a guy overcoming all odds to begin his long road back. As he tapped in for par on number 9, Todd Dempsey's round and tournament were done.
Today wasn't a good day.
Dempsey started round 2 3 under par and 2 shots off the lead, only to plummet from the top of the leaderboard with a 7 over 77, ultimately missing the cut.
The ball striking was a little off, but it had been a few years since I'd played a tour event, so it was maybe a little bit of nerves there.
Dempsey was a 4-time All-American at Arizona State and the NCAA individual champion as a sophomore back in 1993. But as good as he was in college, his pro career was rocky at best. And then the unthinkable happened.
Yeah, I had started having headaches in about 01. Didn't get it looked at, and finally, after about 8 months, had it looked at, and they found a pretty large tumor sort of behind my left sinus into the brain. Fifth nerve schwannoma is what it's called, and it was a scary time.
After 2 risky yet successful surgeries, Dempsey took just 5 months to get back on the course to pursue his childhood dream.
I thought everything might be over. It was, you never know with those things. So, I mean, I figured if I could get through it, golf would be fine because it's just, you know, I didn't have any side effects.
He confided in his college roommate and longtime friend, 4-time major champion Phil Mickelson.
And he and I have had some great matches over the years, and I actually have always expected and still expect to see him succeed.
Todd Dempsey is far from a household name, however, 2 weeks away from his 40th birthday, and without his PGA Tour card, believes he can still compete with the game's best.
I feel like I can play with these guys, and I feel the best I've ever felt physically. My game's the best it's ever been, but I just need to get it done one way or another, but I'll just keep trying. Eventually I'll figure it out.
So one tournament this week, we've had a guy who's been through 2 heart transplants and then a brain tumor, and both of them on the road to recovery and then also getting their game back in order as well. Southlake Carroll has 5 state champions this year alone, and if the Dragon baseball team has anything to say about it, they'll add another. Southlake Carroll has had a flair for the dramatic during the playoffs this season.
We've had 6 elimination games. We've just done what we've had to do to win those games.
We're pumping strikes and we're getting outs.
There's Hill, straight up the middle, touchdown Carroll.
Kenny Hill made his mark earlier this year, leading the Dragon football team to its first state championship in 6 years. And now he wants to do the same for the baseball team.
Win the state title in football, I mean, that was great, but to win a second one, that'd be ridiculous. So, I mean, I'm trying to get there.
He is a winner, number one. He is just able to rise to the occasion, as we saw in football the last 2 years in playoffs.
We have a bunch of guys from the football team, so I know they would never quit, always resilient. I mean, fight to the end.
But standing in the way is Arlington Martin, the same opponent Carroll faced in the state quarters in football.
Should be a good series, but I think we can beat them, and nothing you want to do more than beat the #1 team in the state.
While Hill isn't the only one making plays, he has everyone believing that anything is possible.
You know, we were 1 game down, and after pregame, I'm in the dugout, and he comes off, and I was saying, you know, Kenny, you know, what do you think? He goes, Coach, we got this. But he said it in such a way that I'm telling you, I got a little strength from it. I go, you know what? I believe it.
I mean, we're just trying to take it 1 game at a time and keep the same mojo, I guess, as we've had this whole season, this whole playoffs, and hopefully we can keep going on.